Hello, hello. Again, welcome. It is Saturday, October 23, 2021. Again, welcome to the Keeping It Real Conversations show. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. Again, thank you. If you have not subscribed to the show, please do so on YouTube. It's the name of the show. I am live on Facebook on my page, Sunshine Camila, Kamela. I am live on Spotify. I am live on Twitch, Miss Cloud. Some everywhere. Just try to find me. Again, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away, one help away, or where you need to be in your destiny. Again, thank you for tuning in earlier to see Travis Malloy. Oh, it was an awesome interview, a conversation. And right now I am waiting for my other guest. His first name is Tim. He used to be with AN1 and his street name is Headache. So we're just waiting for him to come on. And I'm so excited for just being able to talk to you guys and willing to come and speak to you, have some good guests on here to talk about what's going on in their life and what they survived, what they're doing now. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So again, just waiting for him to come on. And I love it. So again, I did some tips earlier on the other show, talking about checking in with your loved ones. This is it. A lot of times we go through things and we have no one, we feel like we don't have anyone to talk to, or we're going, so many things are going haywire that we feel like this is it. Why me? What's going on? But sometimes we have to just sit still and be quiet and wait for God to give you the answer. So again, being alone is not a bad thing. Some of our well-known people in the Bible, of course, had moments being alone. I think my guest is here. Tim, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. I got you on my phone, but I'm trying to get the computer one to open up. So
Okay.
I'm doing both. I think I show up in both. Let me see.
Well, I can definitely hear you. I just can't see you.
I didn't want to be on the phone because it'd be a little funky. I didn't want to be funky on the phone.
Oh. Well, I guess you got the memo on the blue today, huh?
Oh yeah, one of my favorite colors. One of my favorite colors.
It's definitely my favorite color as well. So you guys, we're gonna welcome Headache to the show today. I am glad that we finally were able to hook up. We've been talking about this for a couple of months now.
Yes.
Somebody is super busy.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Absolutely. So let's get into this. So we know you, or most people know you, as from AN1. What year did you come on the tour?
Well, I didn't come on the tour. I actually one of the first ones to ever do it. So I'm probably the second one to actually sign the contract. The first is Main Event, and then myself, kind of like the pioneers of it. So it started with us before it was a tour, when it was just an idea and coming into playing the parks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So,
after I graduated from college, when they kind of approached us with the idea.
So what college did you go to?
University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, I finished up at, but I started at HBCU, where I started at Winston State. And I left Winston State, because I believe, and I tell all my young athletes this, is that coming out of New York City, I was a top point guard in the state, hands down, probably top 5, top 10 point guard in the state when it came to my grade class, and I got hurt going into my last game of the year, a little hyperextension, then while I'm going somewhere, and then receive a scholarship, have 400 schools recruit me, and then when that happened, it kind of set me like I had a couple. No, because New York City, we got a whole bunch of ball players. People looked out for me and sent me down with some state with big house games, and from there, I went there and I actually walked on my first year because I didn't get a scholarship. I didn't have no scholarship, but I had grades, so I was able to go down there and do that. And then my first year, I just worked on my body, made sure I was healthy, and then the next year I walked on the team, but they wasn't gonna give me no money. I'm a Division I athlete. I don't care what level I'm on. I'm not paying for school in player sport. That's the way I always thought. So if I'm paying for school, I'm gonna be a student.
Wow. Yeah, that's very important.
And I played a little money. So I'm like, I tell kids all the time, if you're gonna pay, you might well have your own experience. And I decided I wasn't gonna do that, and I wound up leaving, going to junior college after my sophomore year, leaving with a I think I had a 4.0 on my major was accounting at the time, and I wound up going to junior college and going to championship, and wound up being recruited by 10 top Division I schools, and wound up signing with University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee because of Doug Lewis.
Mm.
A little bit of a journey.
So you were the good thing is that you were intelligent. And a lot of times, unfortunately, in the sports world, they don't harp on that like they should. They just want you for your athleticism, but at the end of the day, just like something happened to you, it was like a write-off. But the good thing is you still got into college because of your grades. So that's very, very important. Most of the time you want to be that type of threat where you're still a problem on the court, but you're still a problem when it comes to your brains. And that's what I meant when I was saying about a headache, you still a problem. Meaning that you can go in the corporate world if you wanted to, you could go into a business meeting and still conduct yourself like you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, you look the part, and still headache on the court when it comes to your skills. And so that's what I meant.
I think I'm trying to get through my computer. So can you let me in with the computer so I can get you a better?
Okay. See,
if it's two of me.
See if you can log off your phone and then see if it'll do it. So we're just waiting to see if he can get on his actual laptop. I can see you. It's still saying you muted.
Yes, you're right. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. I can't see you now.
Huh?
Yeah, now I don't see you. Your camera's off.
What? I can see you. I can hear you. I'm not understanding why you can't see me. That's weird. So, I'm not sure how we're gonna fix that. I don't know. Because I can see you. I can hear you.
Turn your camera on and off. Your video when it says video on that. See if it fixes it. And turn it back on. There you go.
Okay, you can see me?
Yeah.
Got you. So I'm saying that is a great thing to be able to reach back to the kids in the communities wherever you go. I'm not sure. Do you go and speak to other schools?
Yeah, I do that a lot. Even when I come home to New York, because the biggest thing is that somebody did it for me. So when I was growing up, I got the privilege to be around, the Ross Strickland, the Mark Jacksons, growing up playing against, the Fred Browns and the different type of dudes that like New York, we talk about all the time, the Puffies and all them guys, they was in the community. They weren't scared to come in the community. So my biggest thing, I'm never scared to walk in anybody's hood. So I go anywhere, even working for, EA and stuff like that. When we go to schools, I want to go to the schools in the hood because I want the kids to see me like I saw somebody deal for me. And they don't get to see a lot of us and talk to us. So I think that the impression of me doing that, even when I do clinics and camps, I'm always big on how many kids you got in here that's from underprivileged hood or that can't afford it, like that. Because at the end of the day, those are the kids to me, the ones going to hustle the most to get it, and it's nothing against kids who parents have it and that's going to hustle. But if we don't pull them up too, then how we say we giving back? Because that's what it's all about. Because without me seeing Mark Jackson come in the hood and really talk to us, and they got old enough to. My first time actually meeting Mark Jackson was actually 135th Street Park when they was giving out the Knicks was giving out bags in the park, like an old duffel bag. I just happened to be there when I was young with my dad, and they had to shoot like free throws, and you get a bag if you make it or whatever. And I shot the bag, and that's when I met him, and I was probably 9, 8, and then fast forward to me being 14, 15, playing unlimited, playing on the same court with him. You know,
Wow.
like this, you never know what that impact is gonna do for somebody. And then fast forward, like my little bro, Smush Parker, he's one example of a lot of guys that I touch. I met him when he was 14. We was in the gym and me and him was having a dunk contest. Like just like he's a cocky young kid and we in there having fun, talking junk, and I'm talking about, yeah, I can do that dunk. And we're just going back and forth. And you fast forward, he's in the league playing for the Lakers.
Wow.
Like so, it's things like that I know it works when they see us.
Yeah. As I had someone on earlier, Travis Malloy, who is in the music industry and he's into fashion. I don't know if you've seen the hoodies, um, millions, billions, and trillions.
Yeah.
He's the one that he does that.
Okay.
And so the thing is, when you learn your lessons and you're out there doing what you're doing, I feel it's our duty to give back and tell people the truth, being honest, being transparent about the hiccups, the mistakes you made. Um, we don't want our generation or the ones behind us to keep making the same mistakes that we did. I fought some of the things that I did as in high school that I didn't challenge myself enough. I thought, oh, because I'm getting A's and B's, that I was, it, until I went to the University of Michigan and everything I learned in those 4 years was the first chapter in a book. Okay. So I had to make a decision. Are you going to let this stop you? Are you going to go get a tutor? What are you going to do? Because I had to make a decision that I wanted to stay here, but I didn't challenge myself. I didn't learn how to study, things of that nature that we take advantage of thinking, oh, I read the book, I know what I'm talking about. No, there's ways that you have to learn to study. You can't go partying all the time. This is not that type of party. And so these things you have to tell. Yes, we want to go to school and experience the whole, I'm the big man, the big woman on campus. I'm playing basketball, I'm doing whatever sport it is. But at the end of the day, I want you to know me because I'm smart. It's not just, because I got this skill.
Yeah. Now,
Something can happen.
University of Wisconsin Milwaukee was a wide awakening for the New York City kid. Like just total different because we especially in that era, that's LL 90s, sleeve up, leg up pants, super flamboyant, and walk on campus and a whole bunch of not us. And I'm a junior college transfer, and I'm in my first class, and it's two Black people, and we don't talk to each other because we have a problem of ostracizing ourselves because we don't want to hurt ourselves by being friends with them because everybody accept us, but that's not the way to go. And you learn that quickly. And then, me being me, I was just being a New York dude from Harlem. And my coach, I think my second week, he pulled me in the office, my assistant coach, Doug Lewis, who recruited me. And he brought me and he was like, come here, let me talk to you. I was like, what, coach? Everything all right? He's like, yeah, good. Dude, stop. You're scaring the white people. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm walking around with my sleeve up, I'm diddy bopping, and I'm just being a young Black kid that, just excited and don't know that they not used to that. It don't help that I'm 6'3", but so he said, you're not gonna, I said, you here for something bigger than you. And when you put this shirt on, you represent the university, you're not really representing you.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that stuck with me because I didn't know that, but they was talking about it behind my back.
Yes.
So the coach heard it. So it was like, yeah, they smile in your face. But meanwhile, they telling your coach like, yo, this dude's scary. And meanwhile, I wasn't that scared. I was just that's my culture where I came from. And I understand it. And I was told a lot of times the wrong way, like, yo, leave New York home. And you're like, how you leave New York home? Like, that's born and raised.
That's you. Yeah.
But it took my my Black coach to come to me and say, hey, look, this is what you can't do, this is what you can do. And then, in New York, we don't smile at everybody. So, everybody, hi. I'm like, why are you talking to me? And it taught me how, and that's why I always tell kids you gotta go away to school because you can't have the same environment because you need to know something different. And to me, learning something different, I've been blessed playing this sport to travel the world and be in plenty of different places that taught me culture, taught me different. And then the things that you read about, you get to really see them. And then now when I talk to kids, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but in this culture, you can't do that. Like I tell people all the time, my first time playing in England, I'm with my boy, I'm playing a team, and I'm leaving practice, and I go like, this is the coach. And I walk out, and he ran me down, and he was cussing me out because just me F you in England.
Wow.
Like that's disrespectful. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like he had to explain to me. He was angry because he thought I knew, but I didn't. And he had to explain it to me. So you learn different things when you go to different cultures. Like, I'm playing in Iran. I'm walking my shoes on. We treat a rug like a rug in the States. I'm walking my shoes on the rugs in Iran because the Islamic country.
Yeah.
On the rugs, it's sacred.
Yes.
I'm walking through a room full of dudes on the rug, and I'm just walking through it, getting ready for the game, and I got ran down and got cussed out in their language, Iranian, and they was mad at me, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And the dude had to come translate. Oh no, rug is sacred. I take your shoes off. Just learning, and being there, and then being willing to accept that. And that to me, that's why I think as a leader, you have to be able to accept the fact that you don't want to be a leader in spaces you have to enter so that other people can understand that.
And being open, because again, some things we're taught generational that we've seen some things that they've never experienced. And so just traveling, going out of, like, I'm from Michigan. And so a lot of things, me moving from Michigan to Alabama, like we said, why are y'all smiling so much? Why are you doing this? And what is you up to? But that's their culture. That's them. I don't know if in New York or they, how you drive up on somebody and you looking like,
oh yeah.
But they're waving hi, like, I don't know you. Why are you speaking to me? And then after a while being there for 10 years, it's like, oh, that's the norm. It's nothing to it. The guy, when we first moved down there, he got on our moving truck and was moving our things off. So we pulling guns like, dude, what are you doing? He said, no, 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 no. This is what we do. And I'm thinking, we've seen this in movies. We've seen this in books, one person goes to the store for everybody in the neighborhood. I was like, I ain't giving you my money and this, and that. But eventually it really was like he would go next door. I'm on my way to the store. Would you like anything? Da 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 da. And that's what he did the whole time we was there. And I was like, it's a culture shock because you're so used to being guarded. people are up to something, and things like that. So being able to travel and go in different states, going to different countries, you see some things that sometimes is unbelievable. Like, are you kidding me? Like, wow. So I would you say that basketball saved your life, or would you just say basketball just enhanced your life?
For me, basketball definitely saved my life because of just the way I was brought up. You know, I was brought up by my family, my aunt, because I lost my dad and mom at an early age. So it was I was raised by kind of like the basketball community and the street community I grew up in. I'm a Sugar Hill kid. Got to see a lot of crazy stuff growing up, but I was protected because I played the game and I was good at it.
That was just about to what I was
No,
about to say.
you know, so and then my brothers and them was locked up when I was young, so I didn't really have my brother, my teammates and the guys on the street that knew I was a good ball player became like my protectors and stuff like that. So it's not like today's where it's a little different, but the old school drug dealers knew who was a gangster and who was going to be a ball player. And they also and I tell everybody, basketball is accepted everywhere, and people don't understand that. Like I've been in Detroit 100 times. Like I know my man Royce the 5'9", that's my guy. I've been in the game out there for money, and we going at it. And dudes don't want us in the building when we were and one, and Royce know him in the game. Everybody betting. I made a gesture like I'll kill him. And meanwhile, all the guys it's like 30 guys standing at me hard because they going for this one guy. But during the midst of the game, I start destroying and playing well and get a dunk on him or whatever. You turn around, those same guys that was giving you a hard grill. Now you're like, oh my God, that was dope. And they give you a handshake and five. And like the curtains come down of the toughness just for that moment because they appreciate the craft. Mm-hmm. That's why the NBA players get so much love and the rappers, because it's something about the sport that is just it's about that sport. It's not about the extra stuff. And no matter, and I've been around, I've been around all the different cities that have tough cities. I never ever had to look over my shoulder because the sport itself creates that atmosphere. Yeah. So and people are like, oh nah, I'm like nah, it had. And like I think without the game of basketball, opportunities of me being there, because I wasn't a great student and just having people around me to help me. So it allowed me to have that extra assistance and put me in a space that, you know what, and also told me how to ask questions. Because in the game of basketball, when you in a basketball court, if you don't ask a question, the coach will cuss you out and yell at you. Yeah. So you go, okay, you know what? If I don't ask a question, I'm gonna get yelled at. So I better ask the question so I don't get yelled at. So it gives you that non-scare factor when you go to college and you're in front of a professor. You don't have a problem talking. I tell everybody, I don't know how to speak in playing the game of basketball as a point guard. I was always a shy dude. And when I started playing the game, it made me open up because you had to talk. It was no.
You had to as a point guard.
Everything that go wrong is the point guard fault. So I don't care if you threw it to a big guy, he caught it, he missed the layup. Your coach was like, he missed it. You knew he couldn't make a layup. It's your fault. And like, what do you mean? Like people, like, it don't matter. So you had to be able to communicate that. So it forced me to speak when I didn't want to speak. And to me, it developed so much more in me for that part. And that's why I always tell kids, even if you don't like a sport, pick a sport, play a sport. Because playing a sport force you to be a good teammate, and when it's teammate sports, and it force you to be able to have to communicate. And that's the thing. If you don't understand, as bad people who hated Kobe because he was a killer, he still had to communicate to his teammates.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with LeBron James, same thing with Steph Curry. It forced you to have to figure people out.
Yes.
Like regular people don't do that. But as an athlete, I have to be able to talk to UK and be like, I know somebody to get yelled at. I'm gonna have to whisper to her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it forced you to read. It's one of my biggest things. When I talk to coaches, I tell coaches and teachers, because I taught for over 15 years in the public school system while playing, and I also coached for the last 20 years or whatever. So I tell people all the time, if you can't read, it's the wrong business for you. And people are like, oh, you mean I can read a book? No, it's about reading the room and reading the person. Yes. Because if you can't read that person and try to figure out where that person's at and meet them at where they at, then this is not the job for you. You just can't give instructions and expect them to do it, because some people can read, some people can listen, some people can't. You know, and I tell people all the time, I say, I'm one of them dudes, you approach me the wrong way, I'm done. You turned off. So it's a wrap. Now you got to try something new. And
Mhm.
and that's what the game of basketball did for me. And it showed me to be successful because basketball is one of the few sports, if you be successful, you will see the rewards if you put the work in.
Yes.
And it's not always making an NBA. I tell a lot of my athletes at Division II academic schools and Division III academic schools, I said, your teammate might be the next CEO for GE or
Mhm.
Ford or this or that. And then you might need a job one day, or you might need somebody to
Yes.
plug you in something. It's about the relationships you create. And
Absolutely.
one thing I always pride myself on, everybody who ever came across as, classmates, teammates, or whatever, I try to give them the respect they give me, because in the end of the day, I don't ever want them to say down the road, oh, he was a horrible person, because you never know how that interferes with everything you do in life.
That is absolutely true. And not only just in sports, but there's the discipline area too. Those who had just things going on outside of sports. That was their way to, for some, to let out frustration, to have another family outside another family. Um, some of my friends I am friends with now that I played sports with. Um, I remember our freshman year in college, people saying, hey, I want to become this. We all like, okay, let's go. Let's cheer each other on. Let's do this, whatever. And over the years, when you reach back to them, they are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. And come to find out, hey, if I need a lawyer, I have personal people that are lawyers. I have people who, in some of anything that I could think of, that I went to school with, I went to elementary school with. I made sure as a person that even though I was short as an elementary person, or you still know who I am. I'm still the same person, just a little bit better, or I'm a little bit taller, whatever the case may be. I'm still the same Camila. Um, I'm always been a connector, a helper. I'm always the one, everybody comes to me with a problem, then we'll figure out how to solve the problem. So everybody is on the same page. Never want people to be isolated by themselves. Being a point guard, I was never a point guard, but I played I had a heart as I was baby Shaq. Okay. I'm not that tall, but my heart was like I was baby Shaq. In college, they called me baby Barkley. And so it was more so my attitude. I took it to heart. I took it like, listen, you want to come through the center? You sure? You positive? And so it was more so, okay, this is my family. And as a point guard, our point guard, she had to talk to us like you did. She had to talk to us differently. Some it was the rough talk, the cussing. Some like, okay, you only got to explain to me once. I'm not slow. Some, you had to keep on saying it over and over again, repetitive. So when you have that time and that teammate type of thing, you get concerned with what concerns them. You can't be selfish being on a team. It don't work.
Yep.
And so I was telling main event, the reason why I reached out to the players of AN1. You guys meant the world to me, especially when I was playing basketball. Especially when I seen how you guys changed the culture of sports. Y'all had celebrities treating y'all like y'all was the NBA players. You guys had NBA players treating you like you belonged in the NBA. Not just because of Rayford Austin, but because of y'all skills, how y'all brought crowds together from all ages. Um, and you also had the hip hop era as well connected to it. And so I was like, one day before I started the show, I kid you not, I said, where are they? I haven't heard anyone say anything about where you guys were. And so I began to binge watch from season 1 all the way up. And I was like, we going through the pandemic. Everybody's not really doing work like they was. I said, well, I've been hearing a lot of the celebrities have time. Let's go on IG. So I start inboxing people. Like, what are you guys doing? Are you guys doing interviews? What are you doing? I would love to talk to you guys. And then eventually, a couple of months later, God gave me this show. So I reached out again. Some have responded. They have been on the show. And it was at the right, perfect timing that these conversations started happening. And I remember seeing you on the tapes. And I was like, I wanted to know, how did you come up with, who named you Headache, and why did they call you Headache?
Oh man, it's so many stories out there. There's a ton of them, and the biggest thing that I tell people, Duke and Tangle, the 55th really named me and made it solidify once they say it at Rucker Park. But the real reason of it was just I was a problem defensively, offensively, and one of my good friends who actually coaches Toronto right now for the Raptors, he always say that you're one of the few people I've ever seen defend somebody while talking junk, get the ball offensively, still talking junk. They can't do nothing with you. And then you lay the ball in, and then you turn around, pick up 94 feet, and you still talking junk. And then he's like, your name Headache is perfect for you. And that's kind of, because my thing was I always had to prove myself. So my thing was I wanted to dominate both sides of the ball.
Okay.
When you dominate both sides, you play the game. When you dominate both sides of the ball, there's nowhere else to go. I already know offensively you can't guard me, but if I can shut you down defensively, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah, yeah.
I averaged my senior year, I averaged 9 steals a game in high school basketball in New York City. So we pressed a lot, but also too I averaged 9 steals plus a game against the Stephon Marbury's, against the big powerhouses, because my thing was if you cut the health of the snake, they can't move. I tell people all the time, it's not Brad. I lost 4 games in high school in my 4 years of being in high school in New York City. They was games that we could have got to the playoffs. We should have won championships, but it was that's the way we looked at it. And that's when the headache I was 14 when I got the name. So I was playing Olympic when I was 14. So I wasn't scared of anybody. And all my big brothers, like Rod Strickland, Mark Jackson, D-Law, like I named so much of dudes that played and went to the league. I played against growing up, and they didn't take it easy on me. They made me earn. Like now, you be like, oh, you can't be on that kid now. But if they didn't do that to me, I wouldn't be able to withstand the stuff that going to, like everybody know who watched the tapes. We went into hot spots. The first 3 years of the mixtape tour before we got Professor and all them, we was going in hot spots. We was going in Boston in the hood and into the park and destroy them. Me, Wally, May, Half Man, like we didn't care, because our mentality was this is where we from. Yeah. So we gonna walk in your hood and beat you up by 20 and walk out, and y'all all gonna want to hang out with us.
Yes, basically.
And that's what we did. And then and like you said, it created I tell people all the time, we're responsible for everything that's going on now because we showed corporate America that you can be successful. Now, back in the day when you watched the NBA game, all you heard was dan, 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 dan. When we came around, when we were at our games, we was playing all the dope songs.
Yes.
Like I tell everybody, I love them. I'm a big fan. But Common, Mos Def, all them guys, they got famous because of us. They was on our mixtapes first. Nobody know who Mos Def and all them dudes was. Common, all of them, they came through us. If you look at all the rappers that got hot in that era, they was on what first? The mixtape.
Wow.
And people think about it. Common's the first song on the joint. Him and Mos Def, the very first. If you go back to the first volume, and people don't know that, but when you look at it, and it's some of the hottest songs of that era and then everybody started wanting to perform on our mixtape tour. Man, we had everybody. We had Tank. To this day, I still laugh. Tank want to take his shirt off and start singing to the girls in the crowd. But that's another story. But everybody from what's my guy from Detroit? He had one hot song. I can't think of his name. It was a club banger too. But he performed on our track. Like we had Bow. Everybody just came. They just wanted, we was that culture.
Yeah.
We was Fresh Prince when he rapped about when he said summertime, going to the basketball court, girls there, cars. That was that whole generation of bringing it together. And to me, it's like I'm appreciative because, like you said before, we touched you, we motivated you, and we motivated so many people. And people don't like. I mean, Wally talk about all the time. They respect these people that didn't do nothing but copied our stuff and came after us, but they don't want to give it to us because it's like almost like we only want to let them know that how great they were because it don't fit in their box.
Right.
But without the box that we created, you can't.
They wouldn't be here. Right.
And to me, it's amazing. Like we laugh about. We literally talked about the other day, Camilla. Like we talked about like somebody hit me up on Facebook. I mean, on Instagram was like, "Hey, y'all belong to be in the Hall of Fame." If you read the definition of what the Basketball Hall of Fame is,
yes,
it's about who touched the game, who changed the game. Besides the Harlem Globetrotters and the NBA, we changed the game. It wouldn't be no Steph Curry. It wouldn't be no like Kyrie. Tell everybody. Like he's my little nephew because I grew up underneath his dad. He tell everybody I'm do this because I'm a mixtape. Like I'm a mixtape fan.
It's several people, not just here, but in different cultures. One guy I had on here, he's from Italy and he wants to meet you guys so bad. He wants to come here so bad. And he's like, I'm the only one in Italy that's trying to do the tricks and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, baby, if I have anything to do with it, I'm gonna put you in the right place at the right time with the right person to make your dreams come true. And like I said, it's only one person away from where you need to be in your destiny.
Yep.
I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know who we need to meet with the decision making or whatever the case may be, and whisper a name, whisper to, come this way. And here we are, we'll be at the ceremony of y'all being inducted. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Because if everybody said anything, especially in the 90s with basketball, when basketball was great in the 80s and the 90s, when I was watching the series with the Celtics versus Detroit, or all of this was like
LA versus Boston when they would be 80.
Yes.
When
basketball was basketball, you didn't trade because you didn't win. Okay. There's people that's been in this league for forever, never got a ring, but they was dedicated, committed to the team and the vision.
And made way less money.
What? Come on now. Way less money.
Hey, I'm upset at you, Camilla. So I'm not coming to practice to make my 40 million.
I got to the point where I'll suit up and just sit on a bench and make what, $1 million? I ain't even got to win.
We laughed about that too because when I was in Knicks camp, I tried out for the Knicks and I love Zeke. He showed me so much respect now, and I laughed because I was in practice. Me and him play one-on-one every day, like one of my big idols. Watching the game of basketball, he's my GM, and we playing one-on-one every day after practice. And he was like, yeah, you gotta be like Pistol Pete and do this. And I did something to him and I shook him and we laughed. He's like, yo, and he's like, yo, you gotta do. Can you do that? I said, don't judge me about Pistol Pete. He's like, what? He's one. I said, nothing wrong with it. I said, but he dribbled with one hand. I can do it with either hand. And I showed him. He's like, oh, that's crazy. And then we just started talking. But then he cut me probably like an hour before the plane ride to go LA because he brought Jamal Crawford. He traded for Jamal Crawford on him, so I want him getting cut. And I told him every time I sound like this, yo, you owe me another one-on-one. You know you weren't supposed to cut me. You got a New York dude on a New York team, and you're gonna get rid of me as big as my name was. He's like, well, I'm like this. You owe me that way. We always laugh about it. I'm still mad at you. I ain't talking. But to be able to be in that space with him and then having it, I tell kids all the time, I'm a kid that wasn't supposed to make it. I was a kid that they counted me out. They thought I wasn't gonna be anything because of the city I grew up in. And I went from being a regular kid to being told you're not going to be successful, being told you're a Division III player, being told this. And that's my motivation to continue being successful, to being trying out for my own hometown team. Like I tell people all the time, like if my goal is to be in the NBA and I knock on the door and they let me in, and I went through all that, if that ain't considered success to you, then I don't know what it is.
Right.
And one of my biggest statements I use for all my young people, and I tell them all the time, I said, in life, I tell people, shoot for the sun, because if you miss it, you fall amongst the stars. Don't shoot for the top of the building because you're gonna miss it, the concrete. So shoot for the sun, and then you'll fall amongst the stars. At the end of the day, that's what you want. You just want to be in a room. You want to be in a conversation. You want to be in an area where, you know what? I made it to the point where I got an opportunity to open the door up, but it led me to other things. And a lot of people only see one object and never see after. So because I'm a big component of that. You always can be around the game. You just gotta know how you gotta know what you can fit into. And I've been blessed to be able to do that. Because in the day, when you grow up in the inner city, you learn how to hustle. And hustling ain't about a career; it's about a survival. And that's the thing that I tell people all the time. I have a survival. So I don't mind. Even to this day, I tell my wife, laugh at me. I'll be like, look, God put me on earth to do what I do. He's gonna give me my path I have to do. So I'm gonna do whatever. I said, if I lost everything today and I had to go work at a supermarket as a manager, I gotta feed my family. I don't care. It's a hustle. Because growing up, I couldn't care when I didn't have no sneakers. I was playing basketball with a hole in front of my sneaker.
Yes.
All I want to do is give you 30 with my hole in my sneaker.
I just want to play.
So I tell people all the time, that's the mentality I work with. That's the mentality I always push. And no matter what I've done in my life, I'm still going to do that. I'm proud of where I came from, and I'm proud of the fact that I was able to endure, because that's what all it is. It's you enduring and learning from it, and as it's in the Bible. It talks about all the time. It talks about, you pray for certain things. You pray for certain things and you want God to answer you. But he's going to answer you in a way that you learn, that it's almost like the fishermen. I'm not going to just give you fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish. So that way you can eat for the rest of your life. And that's, to me, that's what basketball did for me.
So there's the story, right? I'm glad you mentioned that.
Uh-oh.
So there's the story with the fishermen, right? Who their profession was fishermen. This is what they did for a living. Not only did it feed them, but their whole community. So the story of launching out into the deep, which was my first sermon that I preached, launching out into the deep. And this is right when I first started doing this show. Not paying attention that I'm talking to myself. So the story goes, as I've been toiling all night, and Jesus says, let down your net over here. Now I could take the attitude of, who are you? This is what I do. I ain't got to listen to you, but be it unto you, I'm going to listen. So not only did Jesus tell them where to drop the nets, when they dropped it and brought it back up, didn't take long. When they picked it back up, they had so much of this fish that they had to call everybody else that was already in the water to come help them. When they came back to shore, they had so much fish, they were able to walk away from their profession. Did you catch that? They had so much that they helped not only their community, their families. They left legacy right there and walked off and followed Jesus. Did you ever hear them about catching any more fish after that?
Nope.
Okay. So, Mr. Headache, we always have those moments. We don't understand that God chose us for a reason when he chose us. It's always like we're living right then. We didn't know that M1 was going to stop. We didn't know that it was going to end. Now the conversation is coming back up, and I know you know about it, and it's coming soon. So I'm saying this to say, because God did what he did when he did it, not only with you, not only with me seeking out people like you, I have a job now. Well, what's coming down the line? Did you hear that?
Yeah. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, boy, yes, ma'am. Sorry. I'm so saying yes, sir.
I have a job that I didn't expect, I didn't act, I didn't none of that. Because I was seeking out y'all.
Nah. I'm always thankful. You know, I what's the best way I can say it? Because my goal was always to pull people along with me. And I think that was all our goal. Um, I'm one of the few dudes when I first started working with And1 and we started giving back to like the YMCA's in Detroit and Houston, all that. That happened because I told him, I said, I wouldn't do another venue unless you donate to a YMCA or a group home. Because a lot of people know I was awarded a state because I didn't have my parents.
Wow.
But I also knew that the broke kids in every community is the ones that push everything. We know we the ones that beg and scrape and get bottles and put money together, get the Nikes and stuff like that. Those are the ones that really push the culture. It's us in the inner city. It ain't the suburb kids. It's us. So my thing always been, I fought for it too, because they used to fight against me. So then after a while, they saw that I wasn't going to do anything unless they did. I got tired of going to like the suburb YMCA's, talking to kids that really don't want to hear you. There's nothing wrong with it, but they don't want to hear that. But then when you go to the hood, those are the ones that go crazy when they see you because they don't ever get to see you. And so
Yeah, they don't.
I said, why are we walking in a gym that don't have no nets on it? Bring some nets. They get mad at me, not our people, but the white people that work for me. I'm like, yo, go get some nets. Let's put some nets up in here. Like we ain't gonna film and shoot with a gym I'm walking in with people that look like me with no nets on the rim. Go get some nets. So then we started donating money toward the YMCA's and the different things and stuff like that. Because that's when I said, we go in the city, we gotta find a group home. We gotta find a group home or some kids that need, and we're gonna go to them first. And to me, that's what it created, because at the end of the day, if we're doing something, nobody's benefiting from it, then why do it?
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, definitely sharing that, because I'm a true believer that I'm here only because somebody did it for me.
Absolutely.
And I think every person that make it opens a door for somebody else. They don't know what door is going to be. They don't know how it's going to happen, because that's not our job. And you know this, that's not our job. It's God's job to open that door. And all he wants to do is work hard and believe in him, and they say, without any faith in works, it's dead.
And not only just with our names, is God gets the glory for our life, for the testimony. You come from what you come from. You're not supposed to be successful. Nope. You're not supposed to, none of that. But because God has shown you over and over again how grace works, how he favored you, it's uncommon favor on you, on your life, that it continues for your legacy. It continues through your wife, through your children, through whatever you put your hands to. God is still going to bless. So therefore, you saying, hey, I need you to go and help these people over here. Whether it's give them money in their pockets, give them some shoes, I don't care. Long as you bless them, because guess what? They're going to appreciate it. Later on in life, they might come and find you like I found you and say, you know what? I remember the day you came in my neighborhood and you gave us some shoes. You gave us money for ice cream. I don't care what it is. You did something you didn't have to. So in the end, you still get blessed because you are a blessing to be a blessing.
Yeah, facts. Man, better than that. The funniest thing ever is I'm talking to Kwan Cook, that played for the Lakers, played for Golden State, and I known him for a while, and we was talking. Somebody called me. My boy Pat Rock called me, like, yo, I need you to meet with Quan in Orlando when he come. I said, no problem, I'll meet with Quan. And we talking. He's like, yo, man, I remember you. I'm like, don't make me feel old. Don't make me feel old, Cook. He's like, nah, I'm serious. I said, I remember I was on a trip with my family and everybody was going crazy. And then, you stop and you actually talk to me. We had a conversation about basketball. Like, and I remember talking to a kid in Bahamas for a little bit at the airport, but who would know it'd be Q Cook and why I'm going to Duke and, whatever it may be. But because my motto always been, like, even when I signed autographs and my security guards that was on my duty with me, they hated me, not because they hated me, but because I wouldn't leave the gym until I signed every autograph, because the people that spent their time to get there, and I know it's like to be broke. I know it costs money to get there, and they might not got a free ticket. So I'm gonna sign every autograph until there's no more there, and I'm gonna leave. But I wouldn't be the first one to leave. I never was the first one to leave, because the best thing I ended with this. We in Portland, and we always had a timer up, like 20 minutes. But me, AO, Garbage of Soul, Escalade, we'll start signing, and then by like halfway through it, we'll get up because we see the time running down, be like 10 minutes. We'll get up and start walking down the line, because our line be crazy. Everybody signing. So we'll get up. I get up and start walking down the line. And we walking down the line, we get almost to the end. Our security guards working with us. We almost getting down to the end. And a mother comes out of the bathroom with her daughter. And she's like, everything okay? So she really wanted to see hot sauce. She wouldn't get out of the line. So she wanted to pee on herself and stuff like that. And that's how much power we had. You remember how big the mixtape was. She wanted hot sauce autograph, but he went down. So I said, hold on a minute. I went down, I grabbed hot sauce, brought him back up. We got a t-shirt for her. She changed the shirt, put a t-shirt on, all that stuff. And we all signed it. And told her mom was crying because she was like, and it's not toward them, but the point trouble is we never be able to reach them, never be able to do it. We never expected. I said, but no, she sacrificed, she peed on herself because she wanted to see hot sauce. I'm gonna go get him and bring him up. He was getting dressed, he came up and he signed it, and it was cool. We loved on her, gave her a hug, and she probably never forgot it. I don't care if we ever see the girl again. But for somebody to just stand there and do that, and mom said, no NBA player will ever do that in that city. But I told him we different because I know we have to touch y'all. And that was always my thing. I wanted to make sure that little girl saw hot sauce, because I don't want to ever make her think when she get older, go, I try to wait for him. He left. You know how I go. And I peed on myself and he wouldn't even stay and sign my autograph. To me, every part of my life when I met somebody in this era, like now I'm older, I remember when you came and said, yo, you did this, you did that. And that was just me knowing that I had to do that. It's always been on my heart. I've always been, man, my wife always laughed at me, said, you always do so many camps, so many free stuff and prior. And then we meet all these kids and she's like, you old, because these grown men be working, she talking about, I remember you did my camp. I'm like, I'm not old. They're not gonna call me old, but I always I can do a camp for 30 minutes, do a 30-minute appearance. I want to be in an hour and a half, because, when you walk in a room, you can feel when somebody need some information or need that instruction, and that's been me. I do an hour camp and turn in 2 hours, be soaking wet, because I know these kids need it. Now some other kids, you get that feeling like, okay, what, they don't need that much, let's get in and get out. But the ones that need it, I give that extra, because I never know what somebody, I tell people, you never know what somebody's going through in their life. And that one conversation, that one extra, hey, you all right today? Right. Might change that whole avenue of just, I don't want to be here no more. I don't want to do this. And to me, that's what it's about when you're able to do that. Because I know as a young kid, I've been there. Like, why I'm here, why I'm doing this, why should I do this, why continue to do this? So I try to make sure that we change the concept when it becomes you an athlete and a role model. I'm not a role model. I'm more of a person that help people believe in what they're gonna do. Because in the day, I'm a man. I can't do nothing but do what he allowed me to do.
Right.
And people be like, oh, well, that's cool. I said, but it's your skill. I said, he gave me my skill. He can take it away.
Absolutely.
I'm like, so I'm thankful for that part of it. Every day. And I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for people like you. I'm thankful for all the people that wrote about us. Like, I've been blessed again. I actually was gonna post it. I didn't post it yet, because like I did the Rucker Park thing that we just did. It put us back in the New York Times. And people don't know, like, we're the first, I'm saying urban, because that's what everybody's saying. We're the first urban people to ever faced the cover of New York Times Magazine with Spreewell.
Wow.
And just this past weekend ago, we're back in New York Times redoing Rucker Park
Wow.
newspaper, which is hilarious in 2 different decades. You know, I'm in New York
Yeah.
Times. No, and that's a blessing because back then, when we did it in the 90s, they wasn't putting us in the New York Times
No.
Magazine and all that stuff. And, and I actually went and found it and take it out and take a picture of it and post it. And then, I was one of the first dudes, or probably the only one that was in Ford magazine with the owners and one doing an article. Like, them things to me is what I can show kids that they're like, oh, we ain't never really know. We are in them rooms. But now follow me and then you take mine to the next level.
Yep.
But always reach back, because somebody always need it. Like, I walk in parks and be shooting around with kids in parks and give instructions. It's almost like a disease, like
But as we know, with us being believers and things of that nature, God already prepared you. You already know, sometimes for me, it's the glow on people, it's the light to shine on them or something. And you know what to say, what to do at the time. And so I'm just grateful and thankful that we were able to connect, and it won't be the last for sure. Um, and that all things work together for the good, even though we might question why was I the one had to go through this and why this and that, but it was a reason. God knew that we can handle what we had to handle to get here, and it's still not even scratching the surface of where we need to be. So again, an hour go past so fast when you're having fun.
I'm not always. Thank you for having me, Preston. Thank you.
I'm just grateful. Again, I want you to enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Um, and again, thank you for connecting. Thank you for telling your story, for reaching back to all those you were able to, that you're still doing to this day. And again, I'm looking for the sun, the moon, the other stars, when it comes to you, and continue to be humble, which I know you are. And I'm looking for even the more great things, even though you might not be on the court like that, you're still on the court.
No,
And you still a problem.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm blessing for you too also, and continue to be successful and continue to push, continue to stay in your space. That's one of the biggest things that I think for any woman of color, and I just had this conversation with my daughter, is it's okay to be you, because what you bring is something different.
Absolutely.
And it's like adding brown sugar to a cup of tea.
Absolutely. It's I think for the longest we didn't accept being different, and I'm cool with it. My name, and my middle name together was in the books is called the perfect one of life. And for the longest, people say my name wrong, and I'm like, you know what, just call me Sunshine. It's a lot easier. And so coming and living up to that name, the name my mother gave me, Camila, and living up to Sunshine, is different. I look different. I don't look like anyone else. I don't act like anyone else. I could talk sports. I could talk to you about any and everything, and I'm okay with that. So this space that God got me in, I'm appreciative, because I could just have a regular podcast and not have anyone like you, or you not respond. So the favor that God has on me, um, it draws to people like you. And so we have to continue to be helpers one to another, whether it's sharing the video, telling somebody else about me or about you, and take the world back.
100%. And always remember this: people that say your name wrong, it's not because they're saying it wrong. They're not meant to say it. I'll leave you with that one.
Did I just? I'm like, wow. And then drop the mic and just walk off.
Right. So we'll leave on that one.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Pleasure. You have a great one. Thank you
All
again.
right, you too. Bye.
All right.